Yeah, so starting podcasting, man, it was on a whim, honestly. So my boy, he was telling me about podcasts. I didn't really listen to them before. Like, I knew about them conceptually. I've heard about them, but I never like actually sat down and listened to a podcast. And when I sat down and listened to one, it was like, oh, this is just, conversation. So that's literally all it is, just conversation and just talking about whatever we would talk about otherwise. Like you get with the boys, y'all have conversations about any and everything. So I was like, yeah, why not just, make that into a platform where we can just have conversations. So that's what it started off as. And then as it, went on through time, I started like thinking, okay, well, I see more potential in this than what it actually is. So let me start doing interviews and interviewing people that are entrepreneurs, business owners, music artists, MUAs, whatever the case may be in the local area, and kind of highlight what's going on in 757. And I've done other artists like outside of 757, like 804, things like that. But I say that to say that was the direction that it changed and started going in. Was I started, bringing light things that were happening in the area, who was doing what, who had what project coming, and all that stuff. So realistically, the biggest reason though was because I wanted to teach other people things through me, in the sense that I sit there, I facilitate their interview, I ask the questions, and then, obviously the questions get answered. So not only am I learning, but the people that are listening are learning as well, if they didn't know that information already. So right. I think it's a good, valuable resource to teach other people, whatever it may be. I did an interview with somebody that sold sex toys and stuff like that. Like it's a wild concept, but that's the thing there. So she was, I forget her specific title, but she basically sold sex toys. She gave advice to relationships on how to spice up their relationships and stuff like that. So I've done a plethora of other interviews that were interesting as well. Like somebody that was a Grammy Award nominated and winning songwriter. They write songs, and they gave me the stipulations behind writing a song. And the contract says you have X amount of songs you have to fulfill, but if you write 15 songs and they only like a few bars or a few lines out of those songs. Mm-hmm. It has to add up to what their definition of one song is. So even if you have 15 and they took 5 lines out of all 15, you just wrote 15 songs and you still haven't fulfilled your obligation. So so there's a lot of things that people don't know that go on behind the scenes. And I feel like that's something that I wanted to bring attention to. So yeah, that's why I got started and I guess kind of stuck with it. I've taken a backseat on it now. I still do it every once in a while. It's not as often